Let's gather. Oh, nice, cool effect, Flash family. Welcome, welcome everyone. This is our beautiful yearly challah bake. And I'm really so proud of ourselves that we are going to adapt it for what we can do these days. And we are going to, instead of gathering in Greenpoint, we are gathering over Zoom, but we have adapted the recipe. So we are going to make it over 2 days. So it's a complete new experiment because we are going to make the dough, and we don't want to have to hang out too much on Zoom because we are all zoomed out, but it's so good to be there when we need to be there and when we are needing to be there. So we'll be here kneading, and then we'll put the dough in the fridge and meet tomorrow with the dough waking up. We are putting it to sleep a little bit, and then we wake it up tomorrow before Shabbat, warm it up with our hands again, and we can shape it, and you can put it in the oven and have beautiful fresh challah for Shabbat and the smell of challah to fill your homes, and yummy, yummy, fluffy, sweet challah for supper. So welcome, welcome, and so good to see you. And just want to say that it's also usually our custom during challah bakes that we do some sort of a collection, a donation, because when we make food, we also want to think about the rest of the world that we can also give. And what we are doing now, we are going to connect to the Mitzvah Day, which is on the 15th of November, which is next Sunday. And we are going to have a couple of options where people can connect to, whether it's feeding schemes or clothing or cleaning the beach or another feeding scheme, I think. Yes. So all these, so please keep an eye on these because we would like if you could connect and do or donate to any or several of these and or participate in the Milnerton Beach cleanup as part of we have what we have the blessings, and we also want to share our blessings and what we can do for the world. So as we move forward with making the challah, please keep this in mind that you also want to give while we are receiving. And yes, thank you. And then we are moving on, and just a second. Outline. And then we are going to start making the challah. I want to make sure that you have the ingredients out and that you can see what you need to have. We are going to start creating the waters, the creation of the waters. And for that, we will need to create lukewarm water. So I have the kettle here and also cold water. So we will mix them. Can you just a second, can you all hear me properly? Can you all hear me well? Yeah, all good. Okay, so we'll start with water, and then we will need to put in some yeast and sugar, and the yeast and the sugar will help each other in the water to bubble up, and we'll have a little time. And after that, we'll add all the other liquids, the oil and the egg, and we'll add the little salt, and that will be our liquid here to add. Afterwards, we'll add all the flour, and then we'll need, and that will be for today. Okay. So let's start. Why don't we? And what I also wanted to say that this is going to be a very special, in another way, always very special, but a special challah creation, because each traditionally, or as we go along, our tradition weaves in always some meaning and some symbolism to all the ingredients of the challah. And today I'm going to show you a little bit of how it can really give us something for these times that we are living through these days. And I just wanted to share also that I really love when I make challah, whatever I put in the challah, and sometimes rough days and rough weeks. And then through this process, it's just amazing how something super soft comes out at the end, and something super sweet and soft. And that kind of transformation that goes on in my hand, it also goes on in myself. So I want to invite you for this process as well. So let's start with the water. We need 1 cup of water. So since it needs to be lukewarm, I recommend that you mix a little bit of hot water, maybe less than half, and the rest with cold water. I don't know if you have it already. I don't. So let's start. All good? Do you want to make? I think. And wanted to say, if you need more than 2 middle-sized challahs, then you can just double up the recipe. You can have 4 middle-sized challahs, or 2 giant-sized challahs, or 3, whatever. Like, you can play with it. And I just asked Greg also to make, because we like to also give away a couple of challahs on the way. Like, it's just really nice to share that as well. So one more thing while you are mixing and creating the lukewarm water is, if you have a camera with you, we always have only pictures of lots of Zoom pictures, but you are the ones who can see yourself inside the screen, what's happening there. So if you can please make some pictures, and you can post it to our Instagram or Facebook, or on these avenues with hashtag proudly progressive, or send it to us. We would love to see them. Hello, family. Okay, and then Jill was asking something, but so I just want to say that for me, the screen and the computer is very far away. So if you want to say something, Jill, can you read out whatever question or request is happening? So I saw that there was a message, Jill, but I can't hear you. Was there something?
Jill? Yeah, hi. I can't. We're going to share the ingredients, the ingredient quantity. Andy will actually speak you through the quantities as we put in.
Yeah.
So Andy, will you remind us how much water and how much yeast for Luann Epstein?
Okay.
Hi, Luann.
So it's good to have a measuring cup. We have this measuring cup from one of the challah bakes in the shul. So it's 1 cup of water, 1 cup of lukewarm water, and that's it for now, but you can definitely multiply it. Like you can have 2 and then everything is just twice of what we are saying. Okay, so we have a little bit of hot water. Your phone, you've got. I hope this is lukewarm. You've got it. Hi, Rob. Okay. So a little bit of lukewarm water, 1 cup, not little bit, exactly 1 cup of lukewarm water. And then you put in the yeast. So 1 sachet, 1 package of yeast is very good. What we've been playing with, you're welcome to play with. We have like different kinds of yeast. What's yours? Like there's like a purple, a green, and a blue. So it's kind of in this, this is the one that grows biggest, makes it fluffiest, but the other ones are also very good. Sometimes it depends on the heat of your hand or whatever, the weather outside. It's just very interesting, but yeah. So for the water, what we have here is traditionally the water also symbolizes the Torah, all the clear and quenching thirst, and so that's the Torah. But also for our time, I'm thinking about it as the fluidity that we need, like just go with the flow. We can't get stuck. We need to keep going. So here's our water and flexibility. And then we can add the yeast, which is, some people connected it with the mitzvot that we do. And I'm also thinking how the mitzvot that we do so that they create a better world as well as a better community. And the community is like when we do these things, it's when what happens that kind of like 1 + 1 is not 2, but much more. So that's what yeast does, and that's what community, and that's what when we do good things in the world and in our community and in the community of the world. So that's what we are doing, adding things to grow and grow and grow. And also, in order to really keep growing, it needs sugar. Sugar adds positive feedback, like good feedback that helps growing. And you need, if I remember well, a 1/4 cup of sugar. So maybe at the beginning, like measure out the 1/4, but don't put in all the sugar yet. Because too much sugar, you know, you can't just over sweeten. That kind of stops the growth. You need to be like just right. So add some sugar. And now mix it in, and we are going to wait a little bit. And you'll see how they already start bubbling. So while we are waiting for it to bubble, I'd like to invite people to say like what else, what other ingredients, I mean, like what are you bringing with you from your world into this challah? Like I'm bringing a little bit of chaos from today, but it's all going in and it's not the chaos that's going to grow, but we'll see. Something will grow here, but I'm putting in some chaos as well. What else are you bringing? Phil, I don't know if you can unmute or.
So we're going to add raisins to ours because Julian loves raisins and it's extra sweetness from a different source.
Nice. Shall we do speaker view so that we can see who's speaking for this one? Thank you so much, Rabbi Malcolm and Julian.
Oh, I just haven't had raisin bread in yonks, so.
So you are bringing in some quench for more sweetness.
Yes, absolutely.
The grapes in dried form.
Yes.
Okay. What from other households?
You can bring cinnamon. You can bring cinnamon. Cinnamon to put in the raisin bread. Add the cinnamon and the raisins.
You can do this. I'm also interested in your feelings that you are bringing in, or your events that like what you're bringing from your life.
Peace from our life. Yeah.
Okay.
We bring all the stress.
Oh, and I think an escape from busyness when you stand to do something like
all
this.
goes in there. We are escaping. Yes.
And also we are putting.
I want to know, can we add Smarties? Because we're a very sweet and happy family.
Add it at the end. But definitely
that's a great idea.
Happy birthday, Yvette. Happy birthday.
Yvette is bringing happiness because today is her birthday. That's Yvette Pallivan. Happy birthday, Yvette.
Birthday, Yvette.
His birthday?
We are putting happiness into our challah.
Oh, happiness. That's a good idea.
Sorry, I didn't hear. What was that?
Happiness into there.
Happiness. Very good. So, Ralph, I can see that you are mixing. Leave it. Now we need to leave it. Just
I still had some lumps.
video bombing. Yom Holadet Sameach. Yom Holadet Sameach.
Happy birthday, Yvette.
Don't take it away. We might need it. So, yeah. What else is happening? What else is in our lives that we are bringing in here? I think there's been some holding space and holding fort, and a lot happening this week.
There's rain.
There's been rain.
There is rain right now.
Oh, there is rain right now. Okay.
Hope.
So,
Lots of hope.
lots of hope.
Georgia on your mind.
I want to dye my challah blue. I don't know why, but I really want a blue challah.
Just need to put on glasses, blue glasses. Yeah. So lots of hope, lots of waiting and anxiety and fear and bringing in from the depths like strength to deal with whatever is coming and seeing others. Yeah. Anything else coming from household? What's in your household that you are putting in? Let's mix it all in.
We are adding hope at a local, continental, and international level, and we hope that the challah rises as well.
Well, hope. Thank you. Okay, mine is bubbling. How is yours? There's like a foamy thing on the at the top. Yeah. Oh, good. Very good. Okay. So maybe looks ready. Okay. So we can mix in more of the sugar, the rest of the sugar, we can, because now it's stronger. So, you know, too sweet is too sweet, but when it's strong, then it's good. Then we can, yeah.
Hi, Dean Sandler asked, what happens if nothing is happening with the yeast?
Ooh-ha. I would wait a little bit or try another. Don't stir, definitely don't stir. But either wait a little bit or start another batch of yeast.
Maybe patience is another thing we're putting into our challah.
Yeah. Yeah. So it doesn't necessarily have to bubble, but it's kind of like the top of a coffee, kind of a little foamy. Yeah. Jill is showing some. Yeah, looks good. A little creamy. That's very good. Okay. So now we also add a quarter of oil. And that's for anointment. Shine. Make it shine and soft. Let's make ourselves and our world shine, shine, and be anointed. There you go. And then, so as you see, these are the liquid parts. We are like mixing here to keep it liquid. So we have the egg. What we normally do, it's Jewish custom not to put in blood in our food. So we're going to check the egg for blood. If there's blood, we are going to take it out of the egg. Some people throw out the egg, but I feel a little bit bad for that. So if we can clear away the blood, we'll take the rest in. So let's see. Okay, not too bad. Here's a little spoon. That's why it's also good to check it in like a glass. Okay, that was a shell that I broke in. And there's a little bit of the blood. I'm going to take it out. Okay. And we can put it aside. And are you there? Yeah, all good. Ready for the egg to go in? So there are kind of lots of different methods of making a challah. Some people start with the flour and then add the liquid. I like to start with the liquid and then add the flour because I feel like I can stop. I have more of a control. I don't know. You can also add more water, but I just like this way. I really like it. And I love the liquid being, like I feel like it's creation, starting with the waters and separating the waters. And it's just like super creation story like for me. Okay, and we still have to have a little teaspoonful of salt. I'll just use my spoon. Teaspoon, that's good. Okay, got it. So gentle, like not completely flat. Salt, like a spoonful of salt. Now this is going to take a while. How is your salt? How is your mixing going? Okay, I've got it. So the thing is that salt is also about constructive feedback. Now you can't just keep saying like, oh, that's so amazing and cool and you are so sweet. And sometimes you need to help with, and that could be there and there. You can do a little bit better, or you can change that to make it better. We need some of that, and it will, even the sweet one will taste better. You can see in the challah, if you compare different challahs, If there's a little salt in there, it makes the sweetness so much nicer. It's like more wholesome. So my salt is not coming very fast, but here we go. Okay, and I can hear the rain. Can you hear the rain? Not everyone. Maybe it doesn't rain everywhere.
No.
No, it's raining here. Okay, I think this is good. Yay. So we've done all the things to go into this beautiful liquid, the beginning of all. And then here is the time to start adding the flour. So it is 3 cups of flour. And this is where it's going, don't rush it. This is where you have to have like good eyes and good feel. So first you only put in the first cup and mix it well, only the first one. And then the second, it's going to get a little bit harder, but the third one I want to show you. So stop after the second one. I want to show you how to do the third one. It makes a big difference. So I do so the first one, this is the flour is the work, the effort, and the sustenance, all that we put in there. Like to make it be something. So mix, mix, mix. It's still pretty much a liquid. Oh, and I forgot to say that for the egg, like, yeah, the new generations, but also like renewal and like how in our everyday life, we need to find ways of renewal for everything that we do, everything that we see and experience. We need to see it with renewed eyes and sometimes renew the things that we do. So here we go, second cup. Getting thicker. And I tell you why it's so important that for the third one, we are going to add it slowly and we are going to start using our hands. But the trick is, if you want to make the challah soft and not like very thick and heavy, if you want to make it fluffy and soft, you have to kind of stop there. Like you only add as much flour that's really necessary before it stops being so sticky. So this is where like a lot of experience helps, or some help from someone who's done this a lot of time. So in order to not get sticky, here is the trick. What do you do to not get sticky? Because you want to stop the stickiness as soon as possible. So what we are going to do, the third cup. Are you there? Everyone is at third cup? Ready? Okay. Ready? Not yet? Okay, we can wait a little bit. It doesn't have to be completely like it's okay if it has a little bit of nut here and there. This is not where it's going to make a big difference. And we are going to keep kneading and kneading once we have the, once it's all mixed together. So it's fine, it doesn't need to be all smooth. So here goes the third one. Ready? So you very, very gently, very little, like you don't put the whole thing on. And I pat it on the top. It's kind of like covering it with the flour. Let me show you. So not mixing it in completely, just to cover it on the top and on the side. Yeah. So don't mix it in because you want to use as little as possible. And then I just keep mixing it so it mixes to the sides, but not in the middle. So if I put my finger in it, it would be completely wet. But if I just touch it on the top, I can get my finger away just with flour on, right? So you see what I mean? Inside, it's probably much more wet. And if I put my finger on, it would come out with like lots of dough on it, stuck to it. But I won't do that. And that's also when we knead it, we need to be careful. We are kneading it with like the outside of our fingers and not clawing it, because once we claw, we get into the wet part and it will all stick to your fingers. And then it's like, hey, I need more flour and more flour and more flour. But that's when you make it very thick and heavy. So I think it's all kind of soaked in more or less what I added to it. So I can add some more flour. Eventually we'll almost use it, but probably if it depends also on your flour and how you mix it, but you probably can save a little bit of this third cup. That doesn't have to go in exactly. This is kind of like almost a competition I use with myself. Like, how little can I use here? Then you start using your hands, and then you can feel that, oh, it's really wet there. So you want to add a little bit more flour there. But try see how you can still keep on the dry part. Then that dry part, that flour, you keep pushing in. So let me show you. So the flour is on the bottom and on the side. So I keep just trying to make it absorb what's on the side, and then use my knuckles to push it in. And if I feel like, oh, it's a little bit too wet there, use what's still there at the end of at the bottom of the side. I just turn it around. How is it going? Let's see everyone. Okay. Show me your challah. Wow. Nice. Yes. So try to turn it if you feel the wet spot. Either you turn it in where there's still flour at the bottom of the pot, or you pour some flour from your cup. But yeah, try and see. Now I got a little bit. I can see a little bit is wet. So I'm adding, but I'll keep some for later. That one that stays in your third cup, keep it for tomorrow, because when tomorrow we are going to come back to it again, it will be very helpful to put some extra flour on And so it won't be more than 3 cups, but it will still be within the 3 cups that we are using.
Andy, I just have someone asking, theirs is very sticky. So I've just said they need to keep adding flour. Is that correct?
So that's the idea, like try to minimize. So here's the other trick. So first of all, as I said, only put on the top and then use your knuckles to push it down. And then if there's like wet patches, only put on that little wet patch. Kind of, yeah. I mean, you can. I just added a little more, but try. I think the big difference is, as I said, try not to use your fingers to go in, but keep pushing through with the flour on top and the flour between you and the dough. So that flour attaches to the dough. But then here's the next, like challah maker's secret. If it's good enough already, like if it has enough flour and the dough is in a good consistency and you really don't want to go further, you can put some oil on your hands and then continue this kneading, and then it won't stick to you. Like a little bit of oil, a little bit of an ointment.
So, Andy, would you say literally like a drop of oil?
Yeah, like make your hand, like your knuckles, a little bit like slippery, and then yeah, shiny, slippery. If you feel like when you touch, like I'm touching now, and like some parts like come up, I still have flour in my cup, so I can still add a little bit from it, but I really wanna be left with some in this cup. Like now when I put on, it's just really nicely, like it's not sticky for me at all. I can actually touch it now, but still I'm trying not to put my fingers in, but I can touch. I can roll it around in the bowl. How is it for you people? And then you can start pushing in harder, but yeah, I can also feel like there's still a little bit of flour because when I'm going a bit deeper. Add a little flour, but still make sure that the flour is in between you and the rest of the dough, because that's where you want to stick to it. I like my dough now. How's yours? How's yours? Yeah. Keep using just the knuckles. And this is where you can like box into the dough, and what's beautiful here is this is when we are breaking up the like some consistency inside and making new connections inside, like the gluten. Apparently the gluten is breaking up and making new connections, so that's what's going to make it nice and not just soft, but like not crumbly, but connected, and kind of some people call it chewy, but you know what I mean. So this is when we do it, and I think about it like this is also what we are doing, what we need to be doing in these days to connect and reconnect, and that's how we are going to make this something beautiful, fluffy, as well as connected, sweet world and community. So we put in our hopes and we put in our our anxiety, and we put in our more hope and the positive feedback and a bit of just constructive, but things that we need to change, and more of the reality of our everyday life and chaos, and everything goes in, and it's all broken down and broken up into pieces and creating new connections and more new connections. And while we are doing, I don't know if you feel it as you are pushing in, like, I don't know how, but I always feel like by the end I'm changing with it too. So. Greg, how are you doing?
Yeah.
I can see your fingers touching it. Try not to let the fingers touch the outside. Yeah, it's sticky. Yeah. Good. It's and this is it. The more you fold, and the more you need, the more connected the challah is going to be. It's really amazing. And soon we are going to just put it in the fridge. And what I want to tell you, this was like another experiment we just did. Like how can you like, we had a little time, we could make the dough, but maybe we don't have time now to wait for hours and knead it again and knead it again. So we can put it in the fridge. So what will happen when you put it in the fridge and come back tomorrow? You will see that while the dough has your hand temperature in it now. So at the beginning, even though you put it in the fridge, it's still a little bit warm, so it's still going to rise. And it's lots of fun to watch, but you will open the fridge door and like, oh wow, my challah dough has just risen. So you have to take it out and punch it down and knead it again. And each time you knead it, you recreate that whole thing again, that it's making new connections, and it's going to be fluffier and chewier and more of a challah by the time you take it out tomorrow. So the first time it's going to be rising more. Maybe check in like half an hour or something after you put it in the fridge. And then when you later on you open the fridge, and maybe in 2 hours time, it's going to be again risen. So then again, take it out, give it a little punch to go down, but it's going to grow less. And it's going to grow less and less and less. And then tomorrow, hopefully, it's going to be sleeping by the time you come and take it out. So when we take it out tomorrow, it's going to be a bit cold and a bit small, like now before it's rising. But then in our hand, it's going to wake up again, and it's going to be soft and warm. And that's when we can use a little bit more flour from our cup, because to keep it still like not sticky. And then we can shape it again. So,
Andy?
Yeah.
When it's in the fridge, do you cover it with anything, or do you just leave it open?
I do cover. I think you can choose either a wet cloth or a cling. What is it called?
Cling wrap.
Cling wrap. Yeah. So yeah, that you can use. I think it helps not to have too much contact with air, like even in the fridge. So mine, I feel like it's really, like it's sticky, but it's not like sticks to my finger, but it's like when I touch it, it's sticky. So this is a good time to add a little oil to my fingers. And have you tried when you added oil to your hands, how much nicer it is to touch that dough? Yay. Is it nice in your homes with the dough? Yay. Come and you can sing a little. And now it's also customary to, once you make this challah, as I said, that it's always good to think about when we have something, we have the blessing of having food and community. So it's good to also give. But it's also a traditional thing. It's a mitzvah to take away a piece from the challah. It used to be given. It symbolizes the piece of challah that was given to the temple and the people doing the temple service and sacrifices. So it's symbolic for that. I also think about it in a way that it's like when we work, we should always think about also giving to the higher, to the things to the powers that hold us. So think about that it's not just us. So as we are going to take that challah together. It's also customary to, as we do this mitzvah, to think about people that we want to send healing to. So I don't know if you have clean hands to write in like some names that you want to send healing prayers to. We can collect as before we take the challah. Let me just see that.
No.
Okay, no guitar for this. I know, I think Rabbi Emma is also using her hands. So
can we pray for Ralph Baker for healing and Mark Baumeister and Philip Wiseglass?
And Karen Hanekon and Roy Lippman. Yes. Anyone else would like to add some names? Larry Medler. Yeah. Okay. And Rachel Saslov. Penny Rink. This transformative act may, as we add this to this challah, may also our world bring, and the greater power bring healing. All of America, yes, all of America and all the world. I feel there's been lots going on. We need lots of healing. Okay, I invite Greg to come and sing with me, Mishadra. Or yeah.
Sure.
Okay. Mi sheberach avotenu mekor habracha le'emotenu.
May the source of strength, who blessed the ones before us, help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say, Amen. Mi sheberach imotenu mekor habracha le'avotenu. Bless those in need of healing with refuah shlema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say, Amen. Na, 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 and let us say, Amen. And I also brought a poem from also for healing and peace in the world. This is a poem by Heather Paul, who is a fellow student in my rabbinical school. And here it goes. Illuminate the world. God, you scattered the divine sparks. Maybe hold your hand on the challah and keep it warming, and because we are channeling all this into the challah as well, and the challah back to us. God, you scattered the divine sparks so that we may find them in each other. But sometimes we forget to look. We are your glistening fragments, your shards, your stars. We stand here before you, ready to gather the sparks, ready to illuminate the world, like one holy campfire. We may be scattered, shattered, but we will glow together, grow together. We will see each other's shine, and maybe then, dear God, we will finally be ready for peace. Baruch atah Adonai, mevarech et kol ha'olam b'shalom. Amen.
Blessed are you, God, who blesses the world with peace.
Amen.
Amen.
And with that, I invite you to take that piece. I suspect that your challah is ready after all this meeting. So take a piece, let's lift it up and let's show it to the camera as if it was all one big challah together. All one big challah. Which camera we have? That one. Okay, so lift it to the camera, and then we are going to take a piece we are not taking it yet, but after the blessing, we are going to take. So we are going to take like a size of an olive, out of it. And that's what's going to be the symbolic one for the sacrifice. And generally it's baked with a tin foil around, but so that it doesn't mix with the other ones. And some people discard them, but Rabbi Malcolm recommended that we last 2 years ago that we crumble it up and put it out for the birds or whatever creature wants to come and take it. So the bracha is as the bracha goes, and Lechafrish Isa Challah min ha'isa. Lechafrish Challah min ha'isa. So, and after that we are going to take Baruch Ata Adonai Eloheinu Ruach HaOlam Asher Kitshanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu lehafrish challah min ha'isa. And there, and if you have several, you can add them together. And there we go. Our dough is ready. Yes. Now it's challah. It's not just bread anymore. It's been really going through this whole process of making it sacred for our Shabbat. And here we go. You can put it in your bowls, and remember to keep coming back to it. As you open the fridge, check it each time and knock it down a little bit. And tomorrow we shall meet again at, Mel, can you help at what time? Or Jill, what time are we meeting tomorrow to braid?
4:45. 4:45.
And then also, Andy, Rachel asked,
Yes.
do we put oil or flour at the bottom of the bowl or anything to avoid it from sticking, or not to worry?
I wouldn't worry, but yeah, mine is not as sticky, but you can put some oil around.
And
Rather
then,
keep the flour for tomorrow if you have. Yeah.
and then could you just demonstrate, so if we could imagine that yours had risen, would you just demonstrate how you would punch it down for those of us who have never done it?
Sometimes it can even come up as far as the edge of the glass, or even sometimes it goes over, so I just pack it back in. And it's almost, sometimes it's like a little balloon because you poke it and it's like, oops, and then it goes down. But if not, then you also can just like gently, as we were kneading, you keep kneading and it goes back in. You can play with it first and just like put in your hand, and like there's a little like a stamp, like your hand mark is in there. But something with that, keep just as we are doing now. You knead it down, knock it down, and then it will come back again, and it will come back again. But you need, and that's how it creates more and more of those connections. If we were just preparing it now, we would let it just rise in air temperature and just would make it like in a few hours time. And if you don't have time tomorrow, you can still do that as well. I like to call this when it's sleeping, and how when the challah is sleeping, how when we are sleeping, and how it's like the healing process is happening in our bodies and our brain is reconnecting again. So that's what's happening in the challah, and the challah is teaching us to remember to sleep. And maybe while you put it when you put it in the fridge to sleep, you can also make sure that you get a good night's sleep tonight. So you wake up tomorrow refreshed and a little bit more healed. So,
Andy, the challah, the part we took off, do we put that in the fridge as well, separate in a separate container? Or do you
yeah,
just
it's a
leave it
good
out?
idea. Yes, but I think maybe in a tin foil. But yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, and that might also grow.
And Andy, will we take our dough out a little bit earlier, or will we just take it out at 4:45 tomorrow?
We take it out. It's like miraculous how quickly it just warms up in our hands, and as we braid it, and then even we can leave it out a little bit, it will grow and rise. And yeah, do you have it there? Okay, yeah, it will also grow out of it, so you'll have to pack it back again, or make it put it in a bigger tin foil. And do we have the wrap, the cling wrap? Or maybe, yeah, a damp cloth. We are trying not to use the plastic. That's the issue, right?
Yeah.
Yes. So if you have a chance, if you don't wanna, what can happen that as the dough rises, it might go and touch your cloth and stick to it, but you can gently scrape it back off from there as well. Or just keep checking before you go to sleep that a couple of times, knock it down, and then hopefully it will just go and sleep as well nicely. So I'm covering my dough up, and we'll put it in the fridge.